Yo, what up? My name is Don, and today we're going to be talking about my ESP Era 1000 Violet Andromeda that I have now owned for 2 years, and I wanted to do a bit of a review on. So, without further ado, let's hop right in. So, the way I wanted to do this review was to go down the specifications list on the ESP website and talk about every part of the guitar and what my experience with that has been. Starting out with the construction of the guitar, this guitar is neck through, as we can see on the back here. It's a very smooth heel. The heel cut into the guitar is awesome with this little angled edge here. I've never had any access problems. Of course, this is a 1000 series guitar, and I just feel like honestly playing this guitar is super smooth. It's super enjoyable to play way up on the neck. Honestly, I've never had problem with bolt-ons either. I don't really notice a difference. And maybe that's the entire point, right? If something's doing its job well, you shouldn't notice it. And so maybe that's a commendation to the just how um how under the radar this neck through construction is, but it has such great effect because honestly the upper access on the guitar is absolutely wonderful. That goes hand in hand with the kind of shoulder cut that we have here on the left side of the guitar, or right side if you're looking at it. But honestly, upper fret access is just amazing on this thing. So the neck through construction is top tier on this guitar. The scale is 25 and a half inch. Once again, that's a little bit longer than my other guitar. You can see the camo guitar in the background there. That is 24.75 inch scale, and it is a bolt-on neck, which is also 22 fret as opposed to the 24 frets on this guitar. This is my first 24 fret guitar. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's my first 24 fret guitar in a while. I used to have a Washburn WG 200, which I'm very mad that I sold, but that was actually my first 24 fret guitar. So that was a long time ago. So honestly, I haven't really had much experience with a 24 fret guitar in a while. So this guitar has been nothing but an absolute joy to play. The body is mahogany. I'm pretty sure it's the same on my other guitar. Speaking about the woods that goes into the construction of these guitars and everything, I'm not a super expert on those things. So I just think honestly that overall, this guitar, because it has just less mass, less volume overall, is a lighter guitar. I think it was 7 pounds, about 7.5 pounds, according to the website's listing. And that guitar, I believe, weighs over 8 pounds. That ESP Eclipse over there. But this video is not about that guitar. So, moving on, the neck is a three-piece maple neck. Once again, I've watched videos, from luthiers and beyond talking about the construction of guitars and stuff like that, but I'm not an expert. All I know is it feels good. That's all I know. The fingerboard, the fretboard is Macassar ebony. One of the things I noticed is, and by the way, I'm a fan of dark fretboards. One of the things I noticed when I first got this guitar is how smooth it felt. Obviously, that's a testament to not only the fretboard wood, but also the brand new stainless steel jumbo sized frets on it. But yeah, the fretboard felt super smooth to travel up and down and across, all the strings. And I don't think it's much of a problem to me to switch back to the other guitar and play it, but I don't notice it as much anymore. But when I first picked up the guitar, I definitely noticed a bit of a difference in feel and how smooth the Macassar ebony felt. So I know that that is something that I believe, in my impression of it, is that that's kind of more sought out in guitars. And my experience with it is that it's been nothing but a joy. So 10 out of 10 there for the fretboard. The fretboard radius is they listed on the ESP website in millimeters, so it says 300 to 400 millimeter compound radius, which is 12 to 16 inch compound radius. I've already looked it up, and more accurately, it's actually like 11.7 something to just under 15, or sorry, just under 16 or just over 16. But anyways, it's approximately a 12-inch to 16-inch compound radius. I've never really noticed that, honestly, looking at the guitar. You can definitely tell that it tapers off. That the guitar neck gets a bit wider down here and kind of tapers off towards the headstock. As far as playability goes, again, it's not something I noticed. The fingerboard radius was not something I ever considered buying this guitar because I bought it from I'm in Canada, so I bought it from the States. I bought it from over the border, so I never got a chance to play it. This is only the second guitar that I've bought after owning my camel guitar for over 16 years now. So, there was no thought that went into the feel of this. I bought this guitar all off look, and just because it's absolutely just badass. That's why I bought it. I figured that I spent a lot of time in my chair sitting here playing. So I wanted a guitar just like the way I'm sitting now. I wanted a guitar that felt comfortable in a classical playing position, because I do spend a lot of my time sitting here and practicing. Although I can say that this guitar feels a absolute joy to play standing up. I love that you can pinch the bottom wing if you're playing a solo. Doesn't matter what angle you're at. I love that one of my favorite things, whether when I'm sitting, is actually this groove cutout. You know, like for example, I always wanted a Jackson V, but when I saw this thing come out, and I went, okay, the problem with the Jackson Vs is that, and I'm not trying to slight Jackson, they make absolutely, beautiful guitars as well, in their own right. But one of the issues that I personally saw with the Vs is that obviously being a traditional V, I just want to make sure I'm not going to hit this off anything because I already have, and I'll show you those injuries later. But the strap button would have been placed in a position that's like more like right here. I guess I should show it like this way, more like right here. So it would be digging into your leg. Whereas this, the way that this is set up, this cutout here hugs my leg, the size of my leg, so wonderfully. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite thing ever, and it's probably just impossible for me to get away from, the Arrow style Vs now. They're my favorite V ever, ever. And honestly, for people who spend a lot of time practicing sitting and wanting a V, I couldn't recommend this anymore. So that's my one of my favorite parts about the guitar. Uh, Going on next is the finish. Obviously, this is Violet Andromeda, and I'll put some clips on screen. It is a beautiful finish. It's absolutely beautiful. It goes from this blue to kind of purplish tone, but one of the coolest things about it is if you're looking at it, you can see the color shift there, right? From just like a kind of lighter blue to how kind of deep it gets. You can see my fingerprints all over it and stuff like that. But one of the coolest things about it is when you have it sitting horizontal and you have a light source that's very, any light source on it, when you're looking horizontal to it right now, I'll try to show this on camera, but I get to see all these golds and reds and kind of greens and purples and like kind of these fuchsia and pink, and I'm like, the thing is an absolute chameleon. It just depends on your viewing angle to the guitar. My girlfriend actually pointed that out. One of the first times I was sitting here with the guitar and she was looking at it from a different angle than me, obviously. And she goes, "What? Your guitar's gold?" And I looked at it and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like I don't like what?" So I had to, kind of angle it to see what she was seeing, and it's absolutely true. You can see all sorts of golds and red hues and stuff like that. I have some pictures as well, that kind of show off the pink slash reddish hues a little bit more. The thing's gorgeous. It's my favorite paint job ever, and I really wish that I didn't. There's two kind of like snake bite injuries. You can kind of see one right there. You can kind of see at the tip of my finger if you look right there. Pause the video right there and look. That's a kind of, and I think the other one's right there. Yeah. I was building this thing behind me. This metal stand-uppy thing behind me, the shelving thing behind me, and one of the pieces fell off of it and boosh, punched the guitar right in the face like a couple days after I got it. So at least that's how you know it's mine. You got the snake bite on it right on the front. That sucks though. So I'm mad about that. And if I ever complete my long-term goal to get sponsored by ESP, hopefully I can hook up with those guys and have them just kind of fix it somehow. Sorry guys. The nut width on this one is 42 millimeters. Again, this is not something I think about. As long as it works for me. It is a locking nut. I wish it had locking tuners as well. And some people might go, "Why would you want locking, tuners if you have a locking nut?" And that's because, you know, in my house in where I live, the air circulation is not the best. Sometimes it gets really hot in this office, sometimes it gets really cold. And to combat that, to kind of keep, especially the office where I'm always operating, other people who spend a lot of time in their offices know, especially if they're content creators, especially if they have this big light on them 24/7, especially if they're in a closed room 24/7. They got the computer running 24/7. It gets hot in our offices, so a lot of temperature fluctuations in this room, and because of that, there's going to be fluctuations in the truss rod, and the guitar does go out of tune. The guitar does go out of tune. So I honestly, if I was to have some sort of signature model one day, I don't even care that it has a locking nut. I want locking tuners on there regardless. I just do. Like you know what I mean? Like just put them on there. I want that thing locked down. And then some people might say, well, go with an Evertune, right? And well, the obvious reason that I wouldn't do that is because I want a Floyd still. But give me the locking tuner so I can lock it all down on that side really good because I want to whammy the hell out of that Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Um, and the Floyd on this is amazing, but we will get to that. We're not quite there yet. The neck contour on this is an extra thin U. I believe on my other guitar it's a C shape. All I can really tell you is that this guitar, the guitar neck, widthwise, like this way, does feel thinner. But the actual curvature of it, um, it sort of feels the same as the other one. There's not the biggest difference. I guess my other guitar just feels a little bit more clubbier, more a little bit not baseball bat clubbier, but just a little bit more oomph in your hand, and that's not a bad thing. I don't know what to say. I don't really um these aren't things that really stand out to me unless I think about them. So as far as this guitar goes specifically, the extra thin U neck profile or neck contour on this guitar, it feels wonderful. It honestly feels wonderful, and the way that goes right in back into the the heel here, the neck through construction feels just beautiful. So like again, if I hold the guitar like this and I run my thumb down, your thumb has quite a natural slope into the body. So it doesn't really matter how far do you really need to get down to access those top frets, right? I can already hit the top frets with my pinky. So it's such a beautiful guitar to play. It feels wonderful in every regard. Um, when we're talking about the body. We have the frets are it's 24 frets. They're uh XJ XJ supersized stainless steel, extra large stainless steel. The frets feel amazing. Again, stainless steel frets. I think this is my first guitar with stainless steel frets. I believe my frets on my other guitar are nickel frets. Um, Stainless steel frets seems to be more the norm in the past couple years, and all I can say is they feel amazing. They play amazing. They're very smooth. The fret edges on this thing, as far as a 1000 series guitar, very smooth. I don't have any issues at all. Everything feels very good. No sharp edges or anything like that. And the playability, every note rings through wonderfully. Um, that's really it there. Obviously, I set up my own guitars, so if I've ever had any problem with a note, going out or stuff, that's just because everything from temper fluctuations to my room to me messing with the truss rod to blah 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 blah. Right. Next, the hardware color on this thing is black. It's a very simple guitar. It just has the one volume knob, and has the the 2 channel switcher right there. I do prefer these type of channel switchers, although I don't like the position on this, but also at the same time, like where else would you put it? There's not much of a upper horn here to put it. And that might get annoying, I guess. I guess that would get annoying again because there's not much room to put it. Um, because my other guitar is an Eclipse, I've just gotten really used to over the past 15 years of playing it, the switcher being here on that upper horn where it has much more body. So it really took me a long time to get used to the channel switcher being over here and the volume being there. I almost wish it was in reverse or they were just angled a little bit differently because sometimes when I'm playing, I have a bit of a wide pick or like I almost have like the Willie Adler hand where your hand goes like weird and like my 3 fingers kind of stick out. Where I'm hitting the volume knob more often than not, and I find that sometimes I will end up turning it down, and you'll find me checking like I'll roll it back towards max volume, and sometimes I'll find that I did turn it down a little bit, which can get annoying. But again, I've been playing this guitar for 2 years now, so it's something that I've gotten used to, and it is something that you'll have to get used to while owning and or playing this guitar. The strap button, they're standard strap buttons. I swapped mine out, and I guess I'll show a close up of this. I swapped them out with Schaller locking straps. I really prefer the Schaller system. I like the Schaller system how they fit into the guitar. Um, they when I put the screws in, they were a little tight fitting. I believe I had a little bit of paint crack, a little bit of paint crackage. You just gotta put them in really slow. You know what I mean? I don't know how to prevent the paint cracking when you're putting, different strap buttons in. Um, Now my issue with shallow locking straps, even though it has nothing to do with the guitar, is that on certain actual straps, the other end of the part that locks onto the guitar, um, doesn't stay locked. I wish there was a better way to keep it locked. I know there's a little locking screw, but often if you just don't have it set tight enough, it will start to twist depending on how hard you're jamming, and I jam pretty hard when I'm standing up and rocking out. I jam pretty hard. It can start to twist and kind of mess up your strap. So I have no problem with the original strap buttons that came on this thing. They're fine. I just like shallow locking straps, and whatever locking straps you're gonna put on this thing, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna work wonderfully, especially the fact that this back one. One of the things I can say that's awesome about this is this back one, this back locking strap. It just sits out of your way because your leg sits in this pocket, right? So it's just an absolute joy. It really is a joy. I really like the way that the input is kind of tapered into the guitar. So it's really non-intrusive. It's just beautiful. I love things like that, right? Next we have the tuners. They're Grover tuners. They work fine. I would just prefer some locking tuners. And I don't really want to buy new tuners for a couple $100 or whatever right now to replace this thing. They're fine. I can just retune the guitar when it goes out of tune. It is a little bit annoying because it's a Floyd and whatever balancing strings and tension off each other. But they work fine. For stock tuners, they work absolutely fine. They are smooth, they hold attention, blah, 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 blah. If it wasn't so bloody hot or cold in this room sometimes, I wouldn't have tuning problems, but that's on me, right? That's on me and the place I live. I wish I had better air circulation. We have the pickups next in and the bridge. In the bridge, we have a Floyd Rose 1000 Special Edition. Now, on the ESP website, they list it as the Floyd Rose 1000 SE. But if you go to Floyd Rose's website, there is the Special Edition and then the Floyd Rose 1000. There's no Floyd Rose 1000 Special Edition, right? There's the Special Edition, which is like a lower grade one, a lower rank one, and there's the 1000, which is above that. I'm not sure if then that means that the way that ESP is listing it on their website, the Floyd Rose 1000 Special Edition is something that's made exclusively for ESP. But it doesn't say Special Edition anywhere on it. That's only something that's on the ESP website. It just says Floyd Rose right on the side. This Floyd Rose has never caused me problems for being a thousand series Special Edition. I can whammy the hell out of this thing, which I will show you a little sound clip of, and it always comes back to tune for me. I absolutely love this thing. So it's not a Floyd Rose original, which people say obviously is the best. I probably wouldn't replace this thing unless it started not holding its tune. I tightened up the tightening screw here, the tension screw here when I first got it, like really tight, and it has never come loose ever. I've had this for 2 years now. It never come loose, so no issues there at all. I can pull up, I can pull down. Obviously to the maximum degree. It has a little bit of a flutter. Again, I'll try to make it flutter for you a little bit. You might be able to see. You probably won't be able to see, but can we? You may be against my white shirt. If I move the guitar this way, you can see that has a little bit of a like a vibration to it. You might even be able to hear that over the microphone. Anyways, I have no issues with this Floyd Rose 1000, according to the Floyd Rose website, or if you're looking at the ESP website and the listing of this guitar, this Floyd Rose 1000 SE. Um, in the pickups, we have in the neck we have EMG 85, and we got in the bridge position we have EMG 81 85 combo. Now I have a bit of a issue with these pickups. I'm not sure right now if it's an issue with EMG as a whole or it's an issue with this set of pickups. I play my rig. My rig is very simple. I play through a Boss Katana 100-watt Mark II. I believe they just came out with a Mark III recently, right? I'm seeing videos on YouTube come out with that. I want to go watch that because I'm like Mark III, hello. Anyways, I want to see what improvements they've made. But anyways, this 81-85 combo, uh, it's it's like my set has gone a bit. It's like the preamps have like overloaded or like they've gone a bit like microphonic or something. And I know that's a very specific thing, but I cannot it's hard for me to explain the audible change that these pickups have gone through without anything else in my setup changing at all. The electronics in this guitar is very simple. There's only one volume and the channel switcher, right? So there's only one pot at the back, plus your 9-volt battery. Very simple. There's not much to mess up. I'm not sure if something happened to the pot at the back, which is going to be a 25K pot. It doesn't look like a high quality pot to me, just some random no name standard pot in the back. But anyhow, uh, in the last 2 years, I got to be fair. While the EMGs were a bit harder to tame than my Fishmans. I have Fishman Moderns in this camel guitar over here, which I absolutely love. And I know that some people might say, like, well, the Moderns are the Fishman's worst pickups. I don't really care. I think they sound beautiful. And I think that all of Fishman's pickups sound beautiful. And what I mean by that is they are articulate, they provide immense clarity. It doesn't matter what chords I'm playing or how low I'm playing them. It's the clarity gets me. The clarity gets me so good. They chug so good on the cleans. They're so good. They are by far my favorite pickup to date. Uh, so these EMG 8185s were a little bit harder to tame. I did have an overall good experience with them over the last few years, but something happened over the last couple months, and I'm not sure what it is, but they just don't they feel a little harsh. They feel a little extra harsh. They don't feel as good to listen to anymore. I haven't changed anything. Nothing in my setup has changed. I've factory reset my amp. I've done everything. I've like shut off every other electronic device in this household. I've like plugged it into different power bars and whatever. I've done everything to try to isolate to see if it's a electronic interference issue. I'm pretty sure it's the pickups and it's just this guitar because it doesn't happen with that guitar. So I'm not sure. I can't just sit here and dunk on EMG overall or dunk on 8185 sets overall. I think something happened with my set. I'm not sure what it is. And yes, I've tried a new battery and everything obvious like that, but not too sure. So gonna have to figure that one out. Regardless, I would be very interested in potentially trying a different set of EMG 8185s in this guitar. But like at this point, I'm just tired of the issue. And like if I'm gonna do the work, I'm just gonna put a set of Fishmans in it and be done with it. So, overall, I can say my experience, other than this issue with the EMG 8185s, has been probably like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. This is the year's our active pickup. So like I was talking about, the pot is 25K. It's not a 500K pot that you normally get with passives. It's just a volume toggle switch. Already talked about that. The electronic setup is very simple. This guitar is just turn it up, go. Pick a channel, go. That's it. There's no push pull. There's no nothing. Just play the damn thing, right? And I kind of like that. Um, it was a little hard to get used to. I do like the two volume, one tone setup. I do like a three knob setup with a channel switcher. I think that traditional Les Paul's two volume, two tone setup is a bit too much for me. Especially with the fact that you can push pull now, and then coil split pickups makes for so many different possibilities that when you have a full two volume, two tone setup, it's just like mind bogglingly overwhelming. So unless you are very serious about songwriting, I feel like that's where all this coil splitting and like, you know, uh, choosing to push pull on, the bridge, or, you know, like split the bridge pickup or split the neck pickup and then choose to push. Like there's so many different possibilities. Unless you're songwriting, I feel like it almost doesn't matter. I feel like when you're playing, you think much less about these things. Um, but regardless, that's a very it's different for everybody, right? So that's a very, I guess, personable topic, and one that has very different, varying, a lot of different viewpoints. The strings that came on this thing were Diodario's XL 120s, which is a 9 to 42 set. I didn't like them, not because I don't like Diodario's, and not because I'm, talking crap about Diodario's. Diodario's are great. Um, I just didn't like how skinny a 9 to 42 set felt. I've always played 11 to 54s, I think is the set that's on that guitar. So I tried to put a 11 to 54 set on this thing, and I had to, because this is my first Floyd Rose and it's my first time teching a Floyd Rose guitar for myself. I had to add a spring to the back. So we're just going to show you the back here. I do have the back plate off the back. And just short stop before I talk about that, I'm really irritated how on This guitar came to pretty much 2,000 Canadian dollars for me. It's like 1880, but then with the taxes, import fees, whatever, it was over 2,000. So I'm really irritated that the 1,000 series guitars, some of them have a battery, the one with the little latch and stuff like that. I'm really irritated that this guitar has like the cheap mode battery compartment with just the two screws. I think that every 1,000 series guitar and up, every single 1,000 series guitar and up should have the battery compartment where you have the little latch and you can, you know what I mean? Like an actual proper battery compartment, not just a little routed out compartment with another backplate on it. That's laziness to me. I That irritates me. Anyways, getting onto the springs, I had to install a fourth spring, and here's one thing you'll notice, which also irritates me about this guitar, and this is more about the construction of this specific guitar rather than hating on this guitar in general or hating on ESP. This guitar, you can see the springs are crooked, and because of that, I couldn't add a spring to this far side because the bottom corner of this far side would touch on the body, and no matter what I would play, it would buzz through the entire guitar and my tone. And so you can see on this side, conversely, because it's crooked and not set straight, because somebody didn't put the holes for these two screws for the spring plate screws properly. The top of this screw is almost touching. I mean, like nanometers from touching. I think what it is touching is it's vibrating off. The only reason it's not touching the body, I don't think it would make contact with the body, but it is making contact with the grounding wire. The grounding wire runs down the left side here, and it actually is making contact with this spring. So that irritates me for a guitar that I consider to be fairly expensive, right? Um, Now you did notice that there's 4 springs in the back. I wasn't able to get the 11 to 54 set on there. Too much tension. The bottom string's just too big, right? So what I ended up doing is a 10 to 46 set. It's the Ernie Ball Super Slinkies, the pink package. I'll put it on screen. I think it's 11 to 46 or 11 to 48, or sorry, 10 to 46 or 10 to 48, not 11. Starts at 10. And that's just been wonderful on this thing. So I think that I found my string set for Floyd's, definitely starting at that 10, the Ernie Ball 10, you know, 10 set, the one that starts at 10 that is in the pink pack. I think it's Super Slinkies. I'm not sure if I have a pack behind me. I don't think I do, but I will find it. I will put it on screen for you guys, and they feel wonderful. So I tried to actually find an equivalent set under Diodario because I wanted to try Diodario strings, but I couldn't find one. Their string sizes were a little awkward to me. Um, just a little bit different where, I wanted something that I was used to, and because Ernie Ball is what I started with, that's just kinda what I've stuck with. I've never had problems with them. I don't have problems breaking high E strings or whatever. Some people say, like, "Ernie Balls break high E strings a lot." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure that's user error." Sometimes I can leave a set of string on a guitar for, like, 2 plus years, like, and, like, I've played the hell out of that top E string and, like, bent the hell out of it and, like, no problem, so I don't know what people are doing. Um and you know what? I'm guilty of not cleaning my guitar strings that often, so, they definitely, rust, quite I don't know. Anyways, I'm not breaking guitar strings, I don't know what people are doing to break guitar strings. Now the the case they have a case listed on the website. You can get the Alexi shaped guitar form fit case, but this guitar does not come with a case. This guitar is just going to come packaged in your standard cardboard packaging, wrapped up really nicely. This guitar did come to me very quickly. Mine is made in Korea. I wanted a Korean made guitar. I believe there was I'm not sure. I might be mistaken on this. If there was Indonesian made ones as well. But where I bought it from, they list the serial numbers, on for every guitar. So I and that was Sweetwater, right? That was a couple years ago, Sweetwater. The reason I wanted a Korean made guitar was not because like Indonesian made guitars are bad by any means. They're absolutely wonderful made, and you know I honestly think that 9 out of 10 people couldn't tell the difference. It doesn't like regardless if it didn't say anything on the back on the headstock. But I wanted a Korean made one just because I had heard so much at the time about the Korean manufacturing and the um just the manufacturing process, the plants they use, the credibility. You know, Everybody had something good to say about that. So I was coming from no experience. I've had Wonderful experience. I don't really think it matters where the guitar is made anymore. That was just a kind of picky, stubborn thing that I wanted to, that's one of the one things I wanted to make sure that I had. And I feel like it's okay for people to have things like that. You know, when you're buying things that you wanna make sure they check off that one, category that you really want, right? So, now I'm going to try and do a little playthrough on this guitar, play a little riff for you guys. I'm not too good at improv, but we're gonna try to riff something and see what we come up with so you guys can hear these pickups. Keep in mind that these pickups are a little hot. You might like my tone, you might not like my tone, but, hopefully, you like the riff I'm about to play. So, let's get it. Now onto some cleans. I'm gonna start on the bridge pickup and just play a couple chords for you guys. Now we're gonna switch quickly to the neck pickup and do the same pattern. And then lastly, we're gonna do a mixed on both. This is what both channels sound like now. You can see it still has that body of the neck pickup, but it has the clarity of that bridge pickup now. So I think the channels mixed together sound absolutely beautiful. And now we're gonna go quickly into the middle channel, the bridge, and the neck pickup on my regular distorted channel. All right. Well, that is the distorted channel on both the neck and bridge pickup. So that is it for the sound test. Hopefully you guys like how it sounds. Like I said, to me it's a little harsh on the distorted channels, but it didn't always used to sound like that. So we'll see what you guys think. And if you have any questions, just let me know down in the comments down below. And as always, if you want more content like this, more reviews, more gear reviews is definitely what I want to get into. So let me know what you'd want to know about next. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.